music of Dmitri Shostakovich. There's something about his string quartets. There's always a little bit of darkness in them, sometimes a lot of darkness, but you can't tear yourself away from it. There's something even compelling about the darkness in Shostakovich's string quartets, and somehow comforting. Makes you feel better having listened to it. That's his string quartet number 8, arranged by Rudolf Barshai as a chamber symphony in C minor. The music of Dmitri Shostakovich, played there by the Banff Festival Chamber Orchestra, led from the violin by Andrew Wan. And I just want to list again the names of all these fabulous Canadian musicians that assembled at the Banff Centre in September for this performance. The violinists Jonathan Crow, Min Jong Ko, Pyeongchan Lee, Lurie Lee, Barry Schiffman, Terrence Tam, Robert Uchida, and Andrew Wan. The violists Keith Ham, Hezekiah Liang, Maria Thibault. The cellists Arnold Choi, Estelle Choi, Julia Resch, and on double bass Sam Loke. They all assembled for one day of fabulous music making at Ralston Recital Hall. This was recorded in early September at the Banff Centre, the very first performance at the Banff Centre since the start of the pandemic. A moving event for everyone involved, from the musicians on stage to the building security guard. A big thank you to Barry Schiffman, Artistic Director of the Banff International String Quartet Festival, and to the Banff Centre for sharing that concert recording. In 1938, at a very hoity-toity contemporary music festival in London, all the big names were there. Bartok, Copeland, Britten, Messiaen, the creme de la creme, hobnobbing. But on the opening night of the festival, none of those big names took the stage. No, striding purposefully onto the podium, baton in hand, was a ball of energy under 5 feet tall. A 23-year-old Czech phenom named Vítězslava Kapralova, the youngest composer at the festival, and the only woman. It was her big moment, and for a short time, she became a sensation. There's a picture of her from a couple of years earlier that shows the fire in her eyes, the confidence with which she carried herself. She's wearing a tux, she's leaning against the piano or something, and her look just says, "I'm gonna change the world." And you know, she probably would have. But fate intervened. In 1940, she was admitted to hospital with severe abdominal pains. A few weeks later, she was dead. She was 25 years old. Get to know the remarkable music of Vítězslava Kapralova on episode 137 of the In Concert Revival Hour, coming up in about 15 minutes. Or listen anytime you like at cbc.ca/revival. You're listening to In Concert on CBC Music. My name is Paolo Pietropaulo, coming to you from the West Coast. Great to have you with me this morning. If you have any questions or comments about the show, I'd love to hear from you. There are a number of ways to get in touch. You can email me at inconcert@cbc.ca. That is inconcert@cbc.ca. Or you can look me up on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram and find me there. Love to hear from you. Also, still to come later on the show, I've got a symphonic concert from Germany with Haydn's 99th Symphony and a chance to hear the wonderful viola concerto by William Walton. That's coming up a bit later this afternoon on the show. But right now, it's time for the In Concert Record of the Week, a new release that I think you should know about. This week, it is the uber-creative Ukrainian-born pianist Ina Falix with a record called Reimagine Beethoven and Ravel, using classics as leaping-off points for brand new music like this. Peter Golub, a bagatelle based on a bagatelle by Beethoven, played there by pianist Ina Falix. And that's part of this week's In Concert Record of the Week, which is called Reimagine Beethoven and Ravel. And this record is part of a recent trend by innovative classical pianists who want to break the mold. Why release yet another album of music by just Beethoven or just Ravel? Although many pianists still do exactly that, it just seems far